Hello book lovers, welcome back to Caffeinated with Books. In today's episode, we are going to do a little bit of reshuffle in our TBR because I do have some priorities to take care of. Yes, these are all the books that I received in the last 2 weeks and I've been curating them together so that we can do a book unboxing, what's in a mail kind of a video together. So if you are excited to watch this further, let's dive in. So the first box that I have in here is from Books Forward and it is quite heavy because I was expecting 2 books to be sent out together from that, and here's what we have. I think the first book is The Night of the Hawk. Now this is a poetry collection that I requested and I got a chance to be on the advanced reader copy / version of it, so I'm really grateful for that. Then next we have Almost Family, which is the story of a woman who has stage 4 cancer, and while she's dealing with it, she's just looking at her past, her tarnished relationship with her daughter because she's not really in touch with her. She's not even in touch with her partner anymore, so she's all alone. And while in her past she used to think that rather than joining certain support groups when you're growing old or when you're about to die, it's rather just better to die off and just close the chapter. But now that she's actually about to die, she's having second thoughts around it and she has decided to give it to her life a go once again, and this is the story about dealing with almost there with death kind of a story. So I'm really excited to read this as well. Then there is also a surprise book which has been just fit into the box, I must say, and this is Artificial Wisdom. I have been seeing around a lot of this particular one, especially on Bookstagram, around the bookstore people I used to follow, and they have all been talking really good things about it. I don't have a lot of clue, but I do understand this is some sort of a sci-fi kind of a fiction novel, and let's see where we go with that. And while we are at it, let's admire a bit about this hardcover too. I don't know why, I just love removing the upper covers and looking at the spines inside. I think this is just something that I always enjoy doing. So we'll see how we go with that. The next package that we have over here is from PRH International USA. So this is what we have, and we are going to open the box together because I did not get a chance to open this one. And it's a tough job. I should have come up with scissors, I think. And these are the books in here and the list that came along with it. The first book in here that I have is Telephone of the Tree, which is a little sad, little sweet sort of a story where there are 2 really good friends who are both tree people and they both have their own favorite trees, but one of them suddenly just leaves so far away that the other can't get hold of her, and while she's actually missing her best friend, she goes over to her tree and just starts circling around looking at the tree and wondering things. That is where she discovers this hidden telephone within the branches. Now this telephone is supposed to connect to you, to your loved ones, and from here you can talk with them in entirely any space or universe sort of a story. This is totally giving me, you know, the before the coffee gets cold kind of a vibe, and it's also pretty cozy and handy and short, so I think this would be a really good and fast read. Then next we have The Magic Paintbrush, and this is the story of a young girl who loves to draw, and this book is also pretty illustrated, if you can have a glimpse of a few of them, I think. Like so. So she has a little paintbrush and she keeps drawing things, and one day one of her drawings actually comes alive. She's one of the imaginary best friends that she drew across with a paintbrush, and now the magic is chewing in her life and her adventures are about to begin. This somehow reminds me of the Shakalaka Boom Boom pencil that the kid had when I was very young, and there used to be this show on the TV, and this definitely is reminding me of that. And I'm not sure why so many things are reminding me of my own childhood, probably because these are middle grade books and these are supposed to be adventurous. Final book that we have from PRH is Spin of Fate. Now this cover in general you can see that there are peacock feathers and even the head thing that the peacock has, but somehow the swirling pattern resembles that of a snake. So maybe there's something, a mixture sort of a thing, and they have blurbed it very high, such as an amber in the ashes meets Avatar the Last Airbender in this propulsive, not to be missed high fantasy debut inspired by an Indian philosophy. So if you blurb it like that, I really will have high expectations and you will have to deliver it on that. Plus, this also had some, I'm not sure it's illustrated, no, it's actually poetries which are done in form of segments like part 1, part 2, part 3, and there are these poetries that are mentioned in here which I think is a really nice added angle to it again. So yeah, definitely excited to check this one. The next package that we have in here is from Macmillan, and to be specific, no, it's just mentioned Macmillan on the outside, and the book's name is The Last Note of Warning. This is a murder mystery, if I remember it correctly, and one at that being blurbed as the story. The best way to get away with a murder is to make someone else take the fall for it and save yourself the drama. And I think this would be a very interesting read. Let me just see if I can find, yeah. So it's from Minotaur Books by Katharine Schellman Writes. I think that's the correct one. So this is the book, and it's a pretty nice floppy paperback. I really like these ones. After looking through the blurb, what I understand is this is the story of a young girl who's really working very hard to survive and make her place in the society. And while she's working at the tailor shop, she's out for one of the deliveries to deliver one of the few dresses to a madam's house. And while she's at the mansion trying to deliver the dresses, and she's just waiting there for the madam to appear, when she thinks she won't be here, she just decides to turn around and leave. And while she's leaving, she somehow discovers the unattended body of the master of the house, and now she is being framed for the murder that someone else has committed. But other people who are of high standards in the society, they have better means to get rid of such things. But since she's coming from a lower background and she doesn't have enough money to go around, she is really struggling. But she has a sort of a fierce character, what I can get from the blurb, and she's not really willing to put it down, and she has a mindset that now she is going to solve this murder. It is damn hot already, yeah. Anyways, the next package that we have is from Amazon, and it has 2 books in there. These are the 2 books of the same series, and a cute little note from the author as well that says thank you. So thank you for sending the books as well. The first book in this series of Dottie Morgan's Supernatural Sleuth is The Case of French Fry Phantom, and this is a Middlegate story. Both of them are. It follows the main character, who is a young girl, and she is a supernatural sleuth. By that I mean she believes in all sorts of explanations. If it can be explained by science, it's real to her. And she is sort of an amateur detective kind of a person, and she likes to investigate everything around her. And based on this particular story, it mentions that somehow one day all the potatoes and the french fries start vanishing from their town, and at the same time a new healthy store is being opened up in the town, along with a yoga person who is teaching yoga to all the other students, and even, you know, parents and everybody in town. You can just think of anybody, and she's teaching them to all, and somehow there's this whole wave and nausea going on around the town. And Dottie is trying to figure out what really happened to my sweet little potatoes, and why are adults behaving as if they have been conjured upon some magic and they are in some sort of a trance. There's this second book, The Case of Zombie Ninjas, which also follows the same protagonist in book 1. So I really wanted to start off from the very beginning of this mystery series, and this one is somehow a next level of that. So let's hope and see what we are going to find out in here. And with that, we are moving to the final package. I did manage to open this so that, okay, this is really heavy and it has these 3 books in here. Let me just take them out and show it to you. These are all part of the trilogy. This is the complete trilogy and it's pretty heavy. So this is the book 1, Anvil of God. Then we have book 2, which is Wheel of Fates. And the third one, which is The Crown of a King. That's it. And these are the 3 books. Book 1, book 2, I'm not really a fan of people's face on the cover. I really enjoy such kinds of cover. Like if you have to make even a fantasy cover, put something else. I don't like the face, but otherwise, based on what I've read from the blurb, I do understand this is a historical fantasy kind of a setting where the king is trying to govern all the regions together by putting up alliances together, whether it's form of securing their borders or giving his daughter's hand in marriage to the neighboring countries so that at least one of those borders are secure. But sadly, the king is about to die and all his children, like literally all his children, are going in different directions. None conceives with the notion of other getting a part to rule upon, and there is this whole troublemaking, and I've heard this has been discussed from multiple perspectives too. I have also heard that there might be slight smutty scenes around it, so I hope I get to skip through it without really missing any kind of story from the actual plot, so keeping my fingers crossed for that. Now, I'm not really reading the blurbs of book 2 and book 3 so that I don't have any kind of spoilers before I actually finish book 1. So that will be it. And just to show you guys, these are all the books that we have in. Let me just focus this on that. And obviously my half-finished glass in here and everything that goes around in the background while shooting a video. And with that, I'll take your leave. I hope you had a lovely time watching all the books getting unboxed and seeing what's in my mail. And let me know in the comments down below what is the last book that you bought or got or basically received from any place. And I'll catch up with you in my next video. Until then, keep your coffee strong and your TBR strong. Goodbye.